Hey everybody, welcome back to Down the Shore Homestead. This is the second video in the challenge to create 10 videos in 10 days. And Rocco and I are going to talk about budgets. And hopefully we can help the younger generation figure out a way to create a budget that they can understand and that they can adjust to hopefully get you to be able to save some money for the future. So there are many applications out there that will help you create a budget, and you can put in everything that you spend into that budget and you can categorize things. And I actually have some of that software. And I hate to say this, but I'm the type of person that needs it right in front of my face. So I created this budget for you guys. And I know it's backwards on the screen. I'll put it up on the screen, and I'll also put a link to it in the description below. But basically, it's a simple spreadsheet, and what it does is it has a list of all of your bills at the top with a subtotal of what you're going to spend. It's going to reduce your pay that you make per month, and it'll give you a total of what's left over after you spent your money on all of your bills. And this includes miscellaneous items. For instance, doctor bills, groceries, but also paper products, laundry detergent, anything that you think you're going to spend money on every single month needs to be in this budget. So if you want to spend $5 for coffee every day, that has to be in this budget. And then what I do is down at the bottom, I have each week and how much pay you make per week. And I try and plug in, like, for instance, your rent and mortgage would go down into the first week of the month. You would put that line item in, and you would probably see that most likely your paycheck is not going to cover your rent or mortgage that week, because I based this budget on $75,000 per year with a 30% tax rate, which leaves you about $4,375 a month to spend on all of your bills. Now, if you're older, you should already know this, but if you don't, this is for anybody who might not realize this, but back in the day, when I was a single mom, I had to budget. I had to make sure I could pay all my bills, daycare, and everything on what I made. And I think I only made like $10 an hour, and I could do it. And I know a lot of the younger generation are saying, well, I can't do that right now. I have to live with my parent. Well, that may be true. But after looking at this budget, you probably just need to live more frugally. Because when I was a single mother with 2 kids and I had to pay for daycare for one of them, I lived very frugally. And if something were to happen to myself or my husband right now, we budgeted our household to be able to handle all of the bills if something happened to either one of us. The other person would still be able to pay all of the bills, not have anything extra, but you would be able to pay all the bills. So I can't say that you're not living frugally. Maybe you think you are. However, frugal means you don't eat out. You cook at home all the time. You do not eat out. Living frugal means you give up all of the conveniences, and you have to actually plan your weekly grocery list based on cooking for yourself at home. No eating out at lunch for work, no grabbing a coffee on the way to work for breakfast. Everything has to be made at home and consumed from the items in your house, not things that you buy outside of your home on your way to work. So keep that in mind. And this also includes not adding a $1,500 phone to your phone bill. If you want a phone, you're going to have to save up, purchase the phone outright, and then pay a monthly fee only. So I will say, when I met my husband now, I was a single mom with 2 kids, and I had a non-name brand phone and service. It wasn't Verizon or AT&T or anything like that. And it was cheap. It was like $35 a month. I paid cash for the phone, and I could text and call. And it was unlimited texting and calling for $35, which wasn't bad 20 years ago. I'm not saying that's how it is now, but I have heard about services where it's like $50 a month. And no, it won't be a smartphone, but guess what? Buy a laptop and get on Facebook and Instagram when you're at home. And my nephew, who is a Gen Z, has told me that he got a smartwatch so that he doesn't get on social media while he is out and about. He just texts and calls on his smartwatch, which is, to me, a good thing, because then you can enjoy your life and not worry about what's going on your phone and looking at other people's lives. How about you focus on your own life and enjoy your own life and not worry about what other people are doing until you get home and you're relaxing and you got nothing else to do and you want to see what's going on with other people. I don't have a problem with that. Don't make it the focus of your entire day. So I'm sorry if I'm all over the place again, but these are not scripted. Now, if you get paid weekly, that's great because you get that 5th paycheck every so many months. So that's actually extra money, and you should not budget that into your bills. You should be budgeting that for savings or investments for you to purchase a home. Because what the elites do is is what I talked about in my last video, which is create generational wealth. And in order to do that, the best way is with properties. It's not cash. So you need to look into investing in properties and making money through renting to other people. So that's what the elites do, as well as invest. But they have a lot of properties. I am not a financial advisor in the very least. So I'm not going to give you any financial advice. I'm just saying that you should probably talk to a professional about how you should go about creating generational wealth and taking that extra money that you have and putting it into that fund to build your wealth so that you can purchase a home and beyond. So anyways, you start with your weekly paychecks. You start with and in this list are the dates that the items are due. And there are no credit cards on here at all. You should probably get one, but you should put it in the budget and make sure that you pay it off every single month. So it can be a line item in here, but you need to make sure that, say you use it to buy your groceries, you still take the line item for your groceries and you take that money to pay off the credit card that month. That way you build your credit up by having a credit card, but you're paying it off every month, so you're not paying interest. That's what the elites do. They pay off their credit cards every single month. They do not pay interest on anything. So once you go over your budget and you have each week put in, and you put in the bills that you're going to pay each one of those weeks, you total up what bills you're going to pay, how much is left over, because you're going to have to, like I said before, when you go to pay your rent that first week, you're probably going to have to take money from some of the other weeks in the month to make that payment, because you're probably not going to make enough to pay that bill in one paycheck. So that's what this list shows you each week, how much extra money you have and where you can move that money around throughout the month to make sure that every bill is paid on time or a couple days early. For instance, I'll give you one tip that I learned that's great. You should pay your credit card 3 days before the statement date and before your due date as well. But the statement date is the most important. That will boost your credit score. It's going to show that you made that payment before the statement even comes out. And I know it doesn't seem like it will do much, but it actually does help. But again, make sure you pay off the credit card every single month so you're not paying any interest. And getting back to the frugalness, if you have any extra cash, you can put in a line item for miscellaneous items. If you can afford it and you want a coffee every day before you go to work, then put that in the budget. $5, $10, however much your coffee is. Put that in your budget so that you know that's where your money went. Now, this is where those software applications come in handy, because you can categorize what you've spent, because most people use their cards now instead of cash. You can actually categorize each line item in your software to tell you where your money went. So then at the end of the month, you can look and see, oh, I went over on coffee, I went over on ATMs, I went over on my grocery budget, I went over on this, and adjust it for the next month so that you're not wasting money. And when you're living frugal, don't go out and buy the most expensive car with the highest car payment that you think you can afford. Be frugal. Buy a basic car that will get you from point A to point B and around town. You don't need any bling. You need to save your money to buy a house before you look into buying a better car. Your first car should not be a $600-700 a month car. It should be like a $200-300 a month car. Basic, nothing special. My first car I bought off my brother for like $300, I think. It was a beater car, and I know you can't buy cars like that anymore. Beater cars are gone. But you can find a car, if you can save up your money and buy a $2,000-$3,000 car just to get from point A to point B, and continue to save your money as if you have a car payment. And then when you have enough money to buy that car outright, buy the car outright and don't even finance the car, because I know a lot of people probably don't have the time to save the money to buy a car outright. That's what the elites do. They don't finance a car. They pay for the car. And my husband and I have actually been saving to buy our next truck in cash, because I'm not going to pay a bank interest for me to be able to use a vehicle that I don't need right now. So I'm saving the money, and then when we're ready, we're going to go pay cash for the vehicle to save us thousands of dollars in interest. So if you don't need the car right now, save the money as if you have a car payment, put it in the bank, and when you have enough money, go buy a brand new car outright. And don't lease, because that is definitely not something you should be doing. Because if you have $4,000 to put down on a lease, then you should just go buy a used car for $4,000 and then put in your line item of your budget that you have a car payment, and save that money in a high interest savings account. And then when you have enough money, go buy a car in cash and save yourself thousands of dollars in interest payments. Now, food. You need to look at all the sales flyers for your local grocery stores, and also the coupon book. And I know people are like, I don't have time to coupon, blah, blah, blah. However, it works. And I did this when I was living paycheck to paycheck when my kids were little. Believe it or not, the coupon books and the coupons that you get in the Sunday paper usually line up with items that are on sale at your local grocery store. So look at the coupons, look at the digital coupons that they now have at stores, and make your meals based on what is on sale that week in that store. And go into the store with a list, and don't go over what you have to spend that week. And I know it's difficult to say, I really wanted that this week, but I can't afford it. I've been there. I've done that. I used to pray for the day that I could go to the grocery store and not worry about how much I had to spend in the grocery store. And I can do that now. I can literally go to the store and buy whatever I want, whenever I want, not worry about it. However, I don't do that. I have a list of things that I want to get that we basically buy every single week. And it is actually in my budget how much money we spend every week on groceries. So even though I can go spend whatever I want, we're usually pretty good about staying within our budget for groceries. Also, being frugal means being more responsible with the way that you use your energy inside your apartment or house or wherever you're living. Turn off lights when you leave the room. This is going to sound funny, but it's stuck in my head even from when I was a kid. I turn off the lights when I leave the room. I turn off lights that aren't being used. I will walk around in the dark at night if I really don't need them on to walk around to go to the bathroom or something in the middle of the night. So believe it or not, that actually saves money when you don't have every light in the house on. Instead of putting your air conditioner on an extremely low number, try and get it up as high as you possibly can to be comfortable, but you don't really need it that cold. Or the heat. Do you really need your heat up as high as it is? Or can you throw a sweatshirt on and a pair of sweatpants and walk around your house with the heat put down a little bit to save you some money on energy as well? Being frugal means giving up some of those comforts. And it's actually worth it, because when you see how much money you save by just throwing on a sweatshirt and a pair of sweatpants, or putting on a tank top and a pair of shorts in the house instead of cranking down the air conditioner and make it colder, it makes a big difference. Also, think about this. Because you're going to be baking and cooking at home a lot, try and bake in the winter to help keep your house warm, and try and cook on the grill in the summer to help keep your house cool in the summer. So think about ways of being frugal like that. Don't forget to put everything in your line items. Like, my husband has to take a road with a toll to get to work every day. And therefore, that is in our budget, that this is so much money per week that the line item says that we have to put into our Easy Pass, so that he doesn't have to stop to pay cash for the toll. He can just drive through. So try and think about everything you spend money on and put it in your budget. That way you'll have an overall view of what you're spending it on, where you can save more money, where you might be able to spend a little bit more money if you want. Budget is based on what you want to achieve financially for you and your family. And I'm not saying that this Excel spreadsheet is the end all be all and everybody should use it. All I'm saying is this is what works for me to get an overview of our bills, what we're spending it on each month, where I want to put money into savings or investments, as well as the software to back up the overview to show me what we did spend it on and where we need to cut back and where we actually didn't spend as much money as we normally would. And I can take that extra cash and put it into savings. So hopefully this idea helps you get a start on creating a budget for you. And if you have a family, and to become more frugal. And you need to come up with a list, like I said in my last video, on what you want to accomplish over the next 5 and 10 years. So if you want, and you need to make a priority list. What do you want first? Do you want to buy a house first? Do you want to buy a car first? Do you need to buy clothes for your career that you're starting? You need to prioritize those line items in what you want to get done over the next 5 and 10 years and put them in, and then figure out how much you need to save to get those items on your list. For instance, my husband and we bought our house 5 years ago, and we have a ton of stuff on a list that we still need to do. We renovated the inside of the house. We're working on the outside of the house, but there's still a ton of stuff that we want to do. And I have it in an Excel spreadsheet based on priority of what we need to accomplish next. And the savings are broken up by those priorities. So I'm not just saving all of my money for the top priority. A little bit of money gets saved for each one of those things based on how long we have to purchase that item. For instance, we still have to finish our back fence. We'll do that throughout the winter this year by taking a little bit of each week's paycheck that he gets on finishing the fence. But then there's other items when I get paid, because I get paid twice a month. The savings from my paychecks go towards the bigger items that we want to do in the future, like siding for the house and our new truck that we want to get. So those bigger line items come out of my paycheck, while the smaller line items that we have on our need to get done task come out of his paycheck, because he gets paid weekly. So there are multiple ways of saving, multiple ways of figuring out what you want. You just have to come up with lists on your priorities. First of all, the bills that you have to pay, then the priorities of the items that you want to get, and then how long until each one of those things that you want to get will help you decide how much money you need to save for each one of those items. Hopefully I totally didn't confuse you. And hopefully other people that watch this will put in the comments below what worked for them, because we all need to learn together. The boomers, the silent generation, maybe the millennials and the Gen Zs will give us some ideas on what's a better way of budgeting. I'm open to all ideas. I'm willing to learn something new every day. And if you can bring something to the table, please put it in the comments below, because that's what these videos are for. They're for all of us, based on generations, to give in our input to help everybody out, to make sure that we all succeed in the future. And I'm sorry, Rocco's barking in the background up on the deck because he must hear somebody out front. So I'm going to wrap this up. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. This is longer than I wanted, so I'll probably try and trim this up and make it as short as possible so you'll actually watch, because I know, like I said, I can't watch a long video either. Again, this is number 2, the 10 video in 10 day challenge. Hopefully you got something out of it. Give it a thumbs up so it pushes out for other people to see. Hit the subscribe button, because not only am I doing this challenge, I also upload other videos to help you in homesteading, self-sufficiency, and cooking and baking. So hopefully you'll get something out of those as well. And hopefully we'll see you next time.